Difference between knowing yourself and having information about yourself. Summary of a lecture. In our life journey, we are used to hearing stuff in our minds, such as quotations from books and such, and with major changes, we transfer these quotations to others. Maybe in scientific studies, it is a norm to quote the works of others in books, but difficulties lie where we do the same within ourselves. When we say, know thyself, it doesn't mean know about a set of information about yourself. That information is in the past. It is finished. We have seen time and time again, as Rumi says, unbeknownst of the ignorant, with every breath, world and I turn anew. The world changes every moment. Whatever you are using as knowledge belongs to the past. We must see what is inside us that we live with. How do we live with ourselves without being able to see ourselves as we are? Many of our psychological problems stem from the fact that instead of seeing ourselves, we hoard information about ourselves in our memories. This is the place in Sufism where we must part ways with our memories and thoughts. One must not exaggerate about himself and talk of what others have said. What does it mean? I'll give you an example. In fattening up my ego, I have portrayed myself to you as a knowledgeable and learner person, an expert on Rumi and Masnavi. Now, in order to maintain my position, I must maintain my ego at the same level. I must feed it with quotations from this and that, and to maintain my value points as defined by the society, otherwise I would not be able to maintain my high esteem. If you want to know yourself, you can't do it by collecting information and data about yourself, or by adjusting your reactions to the surrounding events. Please notice that complying with your environment is one thing, but trying to form your behavior in imitation of what society does is another matter. By way of example, if you go to a country where the law is for you to wear a certain type of clothing, then you must adhere to it. Otherwise, they won't let you in. It does not mean that you agree with that law. The important point in the path of self-knowledge is the fact that I should not see myself as what I dream to be, or to be confined in the grid that society has created for me. Quotations and exaggeration, like me, portraying myself as someone who behaves like Rumi or confined in another box in the grid. You must see yourself as you are in action, without judging yourself. It is like seeing a river or breeze passing through tree leaves. It is what it is. We have always learned and felt the way we wanted, not the way it really was. Ego and mind are at play here. You must be able to see the reality at and on the moment, to see yourself as you are. Wisdom begins at the time when you see that you lied at the time when you lied. Regardless of the fact that lying is good or bad, put aside your judgment. Do not justify your lies, because a lie is a lie. Do not pay attention to what other people might think of you. Pay attention to your inner being. When you see these actions in real time, without trying to analyze or justify it, then wisdom starts. This is just the first step. The wisdom must start first, and for that, we have to know this inner wisdom first, to see things as they are, to observe ourselves in action. This is exactly what Rumi says. See yourself as it is, and see yourself while life is happening. Not observing this point has caused us to become conditional and to act in the conditional way. In our life journeys, being conditional destroys the essence of being human. Rumi called this phenomenon as condition and conditioned. At times, all our understanding is based on conditions. Check it yourself. Whether at all you accept something that is not conditional to other things, we are conditioned with everything: nationality, religion, traditions, culture, science, and so on. We are conditioned, yet we do not see the depth of our conditioning and what disaster it has created within us. This conditioning and this disaster removed us from the riverbed of wisdom and thrown us in the bed with sediments. When this happens, one turns into a weak, sympathetic, who only wants to be the good person. On the topic of conditioning, if I am from a certain nation, and if the leader of my nation goes into pillaging and murdering people from another place, that leader becomes the national hero to me. However, if the leader of the other country does the same pillaging and murdering to my people, then he is a criminal. See how conditioned we are? If something matched my religion, then it is correct. Otherwise, it is not. Just think of this one word, God, and how much Rumi talks about this. Don't all religions say there is only one God? But isn't my God more beautiful than yours? My God is true, and your God's a false God, and vice versa. Being conditioned is the biggest reason for our separation from wisdom. Rumi says, don't look for anything, don't search for anything. Even if they give you gold, you'll turn it into ash, because your thinking is conditional, because your vision is conditioned. Being conditional is so dangerous that it changes things in every situation. Murder is a big crime. If I kill a person, in some countries, they execute me. In some places, they throw me in jail for 20 to 30 years. But if we go and kill people in groups, then I am a hero. Killing is killing. Conditioning does this to us. Man cannot be conditioned and speak of wisdom. The ones who think Sufism mean shutting down wisdom are mistaken. What Sufism say, what you think of conventional wisdom, is not wisdom at all. That is the one that must be shut down, not the wisdom that flows within you. Conventional wisdom says, how could you love every man? You must love your friends, your compatriot, your fellow religious brother. Is it possible to have connections with the one I have not seen? Sufism says, you already have. Stop being conditioned. Your connection to the existence is through your heart. You are not separate from existence. You and existence flow together. Existence is a live entity that is understood when your mind is alive. When your mind is held hostage by the past and moves between the two dead, past and the future, then how could you understand a live being? The only time you can understand your connection with existence is when you have a mind that is alive.